In Israel, a government commission headed by former Security Council Chief Jacob Nagel has released a report on the defense budget and security strategy. It says the country needs to prepare for a possible future confrontation with Turkey. The Jerusalem Post writes about this. The document mentions the rise to power of pro-Turkish forces in Syria. It is noted that the unification of groups loyal to Ankara in that country poses a threat to Israel's national security. To prepare for a potential confrontation with Turkey, the Nagel Committee recommended the following measures: advanced weaponry, acquiring additional F-15 fighter jets, refueling aircraft, drones and satellites to strengthen Israel's long-range strike capabilities, air defense systems, enhancing multi-layered air defense capabilities, including the Iron Dome, David's Sling, Arrow systems, and the newly operational Iron Beam laser-based defense system. Border security, constructing a fortified security barrier along the Jordan Valley, which would mark a significant shift in Israel's defensive strategy despite potential diplomatic ramifications with Jordan. On January the 5th, the Commission held a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Defense Minister Israel Katz, and Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich. They discussed measures to prepare for a possible armed conflict with Turkey. It was proposed to increase the country's defense budget by more than $4 billion to counter the increased threats. We are witnessing fundamental changes in the Middle East. New forces are entering the arena, and we must be prepared for the unexpected, Netanyahu said after the meeting. He noted that the Commission's report would be a roadmap for ensuring Israel's security in the near future. Iran has long been our greatest threat, but new forces are entering the arena, and we must be prepared for the unexpected. This report provides us with a roadmap to secure Israel's future, Netanyahu said in reference to the report. The report comes as Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that Ankara was ready to intervene to prevent any division of Syria and would also take necessary measures if they noticed the slightest risk. It also comes as Israel continues its brutal war on Gaza and having launched strikes on Lebanon and Syria. The International Criminal Court has filed applications for warrants of arrest against Netanyahu and former Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant for crimes against humanity and war crimes for their actions in Gaza.
President-elect Donald Trump on Tuesday said he would not rule out the use of military force to seize control of the Panama Canal and Greenland, as he declared U.S. control of both to be vital to American national security. Speaking to reporters less than 2 weeks before he takes office on January 20th and as a delegation of aides and advisors that includes Donald Trump Jr. is in Greenland, Trump left open the use of the American military to secure both territories. Trump's intention marks a rejection of decades of U.S. policy that has prioritized self-determination over territorial expansion. "I'm not going to commit to that," Trump said, when asked if he would rule out the use of the military. "It might be that you'll have to do something. The Panama Canal is vital to our country." He added, "We need Greenland for national security purposes." Greenland, home to a large U.S. military base, is an autonomous territory of Denmark, a longtime U.S. ally and a founding member of NATO. Trump cast doubts on the legitimacy of Denmark's claim to Greenland. The Panama Canal has been solely controlled by the eponymous country for more than 25 years. The U.S. returned the Panama Canal Zone to the country in 1979 and ended its joint partnership in controlling the strategic waterway in 1999. Addressing Trump's comments in an interview with Danish broadcaster TV2, Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen called the United States Denmark's most important and closest ally, and that she did not believe that the United States will use military or economic power to secure control over Greenland.
Your references to Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that you'll have to do something. Look, the Panama Canal is vital to our country. It's being operated by China. China. And we gave the Panama Canal to Panama. We didn't give it to China. And they've abused it. They've abused that gift. It should have never been made, by the way. Giving the Panama Canal is why Jimmy Carter lost the election, in my opinion, more so maybe than the hostages. The hostages were a big deal. But if you remember, and nobody wants to talk about the Panama Canal now because, you know, it's inappropriate, I guess, but because it's a bad part of the Carter legacy. But he was a good man. Look, he was a good man. I knew him a little bit, and he was a very fine person, but that was a big mistake.
Sir, real fast, you said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No. Economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like. And it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada. We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. You know, they make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit. We don't need the cars. We don't need their lumber. We have massive fields of lumber. We don't need their lumber. We have to unrestrict them because stupid people put, you know, restrictions on, but I can do that with an executive order. We don't need anything they have. We don't need their dairy products. We have more than they have. We don't need anything. So why are we losing $200 billion a year and more to protect Canada?
Mr. President, back on Greenland. Your position is clear, but have you directed your staff to take specific actions to drop plans? And can you elaborate again? You didn't rule out military coercion.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. I mean, people have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You look at, you don't even need binoculars. You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen. And if Denmark wants to get to a conclusion, but nobody knows if they even have any right, title, or interest. The people are going to probably vote for independence or to come into the United States. But if they did do that, then I would tariff Denmark at a very high level.
Have you asked your staff to draw plans for acquisition? I mean, are you active?
No, we're not at that stage, but we have people. I haven't even entered office yet.